All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you again for joining us. If we haven't met before, my name is Terry Parham Jr., and today I'll be your tour guide for our presentation called Million Dollar Trivia. I think we've all been through several boring PowerPoints in life. I've probably given you some boring PowerPoints. So today we said, you know what? Let's do something a little different. Let's have some quiz questions, give everyone an opportunity to give us their insight and their answers, and then we'll compare notes and talk from there about what was the correct answer and what the nuances were that made us come to that conclusion. So today will be very, very different. And this is our first go round with this polling software. So we have a plan A. We also have a plan B if it goes terribly wrong. So we appreciate you being with us and we'll get ready to get started. As always, this is brought to you by Innovative Wealth Building. You most likely know one of the four faces on this screen. Um, if you've met us before, you know that we're financial advisors who work with families to just help them achieve the goals that are important to them. Today is not going to be a sales pitch. We're not going to sell anything. We just want to have education and hopefully have some fun tonight. So we'll go ahead and get ready to get started. Again, today is trivia. And at the end, we'll have a grand prize winner, a $100 Amazon gift card just in time for the holidays. I'm still in the process of deciding how we're going to give it away, but don't worry, we have a couple things in mind, so that'll materialize as the night goes on. So here are the ground rules or just the expectations of what's going to happen. There's about 20 quiz questions, and we're going to cover a lot of different topics. Some topics will be about debts or assets, others will be about investments, Social Security. Depending on how long it takes us to get through the questions, maybe we can even have a couple bonus questions. As always, if you have any questions, feel free to type in the chat box. I believe there's the functionality to raise your hand where we can even unmute your microphone and let you ask a question. Feel free to send us a message, again, using the chat box function that you'll see in the WebEx application. All of these choices, or excuse me, all of these questions will have multiple choice answers. Again, we'll review the answer each time, and then we'll move on from there. So that's really all that we have. We'll go ahead and get started. And again, this is our first run at this, so we'll see how the program works. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to turn on our program called Slido. It's what we use for doing quizzes and taking polls. So I'm going to open up the quiz that we have for today, again, about 20 questions. And what should happen is on your screen, there should be a pop-up that basically asks for you to join us. So currently we have one participant already registered, but on your screen to the right, you should see a pop-up that's inviting you to put in your name and then hit go, and then it will just populate my list to show me that everyone is ready to begin our polling. So again, this is how we will go through and answer questions. Looks like we have a few people so far. So yeah, we're up to 7. Very, very good. I'll wait a little bit longer just to see 9 people. Man, you guys are rock stars. You're making the technology look like we've actually done this before. So appreciate your help. 11 participants. Very, very good. I'll wait another 25 seconds to see if anyone else dials in or signs in. I know that my number is being counted on there, so I won't sign into this. And it's very cool. I see some husband-wife teams on there. So hopefully 2 brains is better than 1 as we get ready to have some fun tonight. So again, I'll wait 10 more seconds and then we'll go ahead and start the quiz. So once we get started, you're going to see the poll question pop up on the right side of your screen. Once it pops up, there will be 3 or 4 answers you can select. Go ahead and select what you think is correct, hit send, and then once I see that everyone or almost everyone has given an answer, we'll review the results. All right, we're going to start the quiz now. Okay, so here's the first question. You should see it on your screen, but the question asks, what does IWB stand for? And this is actually just a test question. It doesn't really count. But what does it stand for? I want burgers, I want bourbon, innovative wealth building. Um, I can see the results in live. So I see that a few people out there want bourbon, so that's cool. It looks like there is a hand raised. Um, are you able to type anything in the chat box? If not, let me see if I can allow sound here. Yep, sir. If are you able to type in the chat box so we can see what your question might be? Okay. Are causing. Yep. So we'll just wait a second. Just waiting to see. It says I can't see the question. Okay. Not sure why you wouldn't be able to see the question. Um, So the first question, I'll pop it up on the screen just in case you're having any trouble seeing it. We've had quite a few people give us their answers here, but again, it was what does IWB stand for? And those were our choices. So 10 people responded out of 11. I think that's pretty good. Um, and I see okay, it says it's still loading. All right, so let's go ahead and see what the answer was. So 90% of you got it right. The answer was C, innovative wealth building. Yes, we do like bourbon. We do like burgers. Sometimes it stands for the incredible Warren Brooks. I'm sure you've heard that in the office. But good job there. We know what IWB stands for. Now we're going to dive into the real questions. So here we go. Let's go to the next one. So here's our question. Currently, what would you consider a good interest rate for a savings account? The question isn't what do you wish your savings account was paying, but if you were to go get a good savings account right now, what's the best rate you probably would get if you were to look around a little bit? So we just want to take a quick survey to see what your thoughts are. Is it 0%, 0.1, about a 0.5%, or closer to 2%? Okay, so we have 6 answers in so far. Okay, we're up to 9, just another person or two, and then we'll review. Oops. Sorry about that. Okay, so I'll give another 10 seconds for our last person to answer. Okay, and Debbie said she can't answer any questions. I'm sorry about that, Debbie. I'm not exactly sure what might be happening. If possible, maybe you could refresh the screen. But I'm sorry that it's not working for some reason. Okay, so looks like we got 9 answers in. Let's go ahead and take a look at the results. So we've locked in the results. Looks like about 44% of us said 0.5%. 0.5% is actually the correct answer. Now, while many of us may have bank accounts around 0%, that's certainly not the best you can do right now. Without looking too hard, you can typically find somewhere from 0.5 to 1% in a bank account. However, 2% interest rates, those are almost impossible to come by just due to the environment we have with interest rates. So again, the correct answer was C, 0.5%. It would be nice to get 2%, but that's probably not possible, at least not for any balance of any significance. And then below 0.5, that wouldn't be considered good. 0 or 0.1, not what I would want my emergency fund to be doing. So thank you for chiming in. Let's go ahead and take a look at the next question. So year to date, what is the investment return for the S&P 500? S&P stands for the Standard & Poor's. That's a bucket of 500 investment companies that are going to just show us what the United States looks like. On the slide, the numbers are slightly different, but you'll see the general range around 0 to 8%, 9 to 16 or 17%, or 18% plus. Now, the stock market moves every single day. Recently, we've seen a lot of volatility. So I'm actually going to type this into my phone to double check. I'm pretty sure I know what the answer is, but I'd like to be able to tell you what it is based off of today and the market movements of the day. So most people have answered. We have a couple more people left to answer. I just finished Googling. so I can tell you exactly what the S&P 500 has done so far this year. All right, so let's go ahead and lock it in. So it looks like 44% of us said 9 to 17%. 0 to 8% was what 22% of us said. So about 2 out of every 3 of us said less than 18%. Well, the spoiler is the stock market has actually returned more than 18% year to date. Year to date, the S&P 500 is up 25%. That's crazy, especially considering the volatility and the fact that we thought that perhaps we'd lose a bunch of money this year. So your portfolio may not have returned 25%, and that's because most of us are probably diversified with international, with bonds, with different types of investments. But purely the US stock market, when you consider the really big companies in the S&P 500, it's up about 25% this year. That's a lot. And that's a really good reason why, even when the market is a little choppy, you want to keep a good portion of your money in the stock market and working for you. So, good answers. Let's go ahead to the next one. All right, so this question's a little funny. We're asking which of these 3 choices has the most spendable money? If we think about a Roth IRA with $80,000, or a traditional IRA with $100,000, or a taxable account with $77,500, if you consider taxes, which one actually gives you the most money to spend? Is it $80,000 in a Roth? Is it $100,000 in a traditional IRA? Or is it $77,500 in a taxable account? And a taxable account is also known as a brokerage account, a glorified savings account. It's just an account that's not tied to retirement rules. Okay, so we have a few answers so far. We have a few people in the chat box chiming in. So far, all right, maybe just 1 or 2 more answers, and then I think that will be everybody. Okay, so we'll go ahead and lock the results. Looks like 63% of us said Roth IRA. That's the correct answer. With a Roth IRA, that whole $80,000 is completely tax-free. So with the traditional IRA, with a tax bracket of 25%, $25,000 is going away because you have to pay taxes. So you're only left with $75,000 net. With the taxable account, $77,500, there's probably some taxes you have to pay. And in any instance, 77 is less than 80,000. So $80,000 in the Roth IRA is correct. That is what the vast majority of us selected. So good job. Sorry, Debbie, that there were some technical issues with the polling. We'll try to get that solved so that next time we do one of these, everyone has the ability to select the answers and have it included in the poll. So great job. Roth IRA is the answer here. Next year, we're going to do a webinar about Roth conversions and why it might even be beneficial to do that during your retirement years. So in general, most people probably don't have as much Roth as they want, and Roth can be a really, really good thing. So that's something we'll talk about more later. Okay, next question. So here's the question. How do you calculate net worth? Is it assets minus liabilities? Is it liquid assets minus liabilities? Or is it assets plus accounts receivable? Now, just to differentiate, liquid assets would be things that are spendable, cash, savings, things like your investment accounts, retirement accounts. Liabilities, on the other hand, that's pretty much anything. That can be a car, that could be your furniture. It can be pretty much anything. So we'll see what everyone comes up with here. So far, we have a few different answers. So we see some letters A, some letters C. Almost all the answers are in so far. Okay, looks like we got pretty much everybody. So it looks like 89% of us said assets minus liability. And 89% of us were 100% correct. So you look at your balance sheet. what are all the things that you own that are assets? Your home, your car, your furniture. We subtract that from your liabilities, student loans, car payment, mortgage, and what we're left with is your net worth. So again, it's just your assets minus your liabilities. Knowing your net worth is really important because that speaks to the health of your overall financial situation. So almost 90% of us got that. So very, very good. Assets plus accounts receivable. For the accountants out there, that may seem like a reasonable answer, but with liabilities, we're capturing pretty much anything and everything that we owe to pretty much anyone. So good work there. We'll keep rolling along. So here's the next question. How would you describe the US tax system? Is it a flat tax system? Is it progressive? Is it marginal? We put dumb. I can assure you, while you may think that, that's technically not the correct answer. So what would you use to classify the United States tax system? Flat, progressive, marginal, or answer number 4? It's up to you. All right, so we have a couple different answers. Okay, so looks like everybody is in. Perfect. So let's talk about this. 20% of us said marginal. The other 80% said progressive. For the most part, flat would not be correct. Flat would be everyone paying the same rate. So if everyone paid 15%, that would be flat. The correct answer is progressive. Now, what does progressive mean? Basically, the more money you have, the higher percentage of your money you pay in taxes. So theoretically, that's what should be happening, right? Now, we know there are tax breaks and loopholes and things of that nature, but if you actually look at the tax brackets, when you're at a lower income level, it starts at 12%, then it goes up to 24, then it goes up and up and up all the way close to 40%. So how does it work? It's progressive. Just because you're in the 24% tax bracket doesn't mean all of your income is taxed at that. Part of it's taxed at 12 and 22% before it gets to 24%. So the tax code is extremely long. I Googled it. Somewhere I saw that it's over 70,000 pages long. I don't know if that's actually accurate, but I know it's really confusing. So if you've never spoke to an accountant, and if your situation is not very, very simple, it may not be a bad idea. We talked to our accountant yesterday, and every time we talk to her, there are things we learn. So again, progressive would be the answer because theoretically and in practice, people with higher means should be paying a higher percentage of taxes, or a total amount of taxes should be paid that would be higher than people with lower incomes and lower assets. All right, so next question. Which of the following is not a capital gains tax rate? So just to clarify, a capital gains tax rate is what happens in a non-retirement account. If you hold that account for at least 1 year and 1 day, and then you sell it, you'll pay taxes at 0%, 15%, 20%, or 25%. Now, the downside is one of these answers is not correct. So which of the choices is not an actual capital gains rate? 0%, 15, 20, or 25? All right, so we have some answers for A, some for C, some for D. We have some for B. Yeah, we're stretched across the board here. All right, so almost everyone has answered. I'll give another few seconds. I think there may be one more answer out there. All right, looks like we got them all. So, all right, so what is the correct answer? You know, the one that's not a capital gains tax rate is actually 25%. There is a such thing as a 0% capital gains tax rate. In fact, if your income's low enough, no matter, I mean, you can make some good returns in your non-retirement account and sell it and not pay any taxes whatsoever. 15%, that's the capital gains rate that most of us would probably pay. The highest income earners are likely going to be in the 20% tax bracket. And there is a Medicare surtax, 3.8%, that gets added on top of that for the highest income earners. However, in any instance, 25%, that is the one that is not a capital gains rate. So about 50% of us said 25% is not. So 50% of us were dead on. That is the correct answer. There is no 25% capital gains rate. There used to be a 25% marginal tax rate. Again, these things change almost every year, so it's hard to keep up with. So great job. Okay, next question. What is the earliest age a person can elect Social Security? So what is the earliest a person can start taking a distribution from Social Security? Keep in mind, we're not talking about if a person becomes disabled or has some type of health issue. This is purely based off of attained age. So what age are you able to start taking money from Social Security to say, hey, I've waited all this time, I'm ready to start receiving my payments? And we see some key numbers there. 59 and a half, that's the golden age for some things. Age 60, 62, 65. All right, so we'll hold for one more person. Looks like almost all of our answers are in. Okay, great. So we'll go ahead and lock the results. Now, we have several answers on here. Age 59 and a half. That is actually the earliest you can take money from a retirement account without having the 10% penalty. Caveat, if you're 55, then maybe you can take money as well, depends. But when it comes to Social Security, age 59 and a half would not be the correct answer. Age 60, also not correct. You can start getting Social Security at age 60, but that's only if you're a survivor. If it's based off of your work history, 60 would not be the answer either. Age 65 seems like a good choice. That's the retirement age that most people strive for. However, the answer is 62. 70% of us got that correct. 62 is the earliest you can start taking Social Security based off your work history. Now, should you take it at 62? Maybe not. In a lot of situations, the answer is probably no. Social Security is one of the most important financial decisions many of us would make. If you haven't thought a lot about it, I would suggest that you add that to your planning conversations going forward. And if you're married, you really want to be planful because your decision counts for both yourself and your spouse. Now, if you're not married, your decision still means a whole heck of a lot because instead of two Social Securities to rely on, there's just one. So really make sure you think through your choices. 62 is the earliest. You can wait as long as 70. 67, 66 to 67, that's considered full retirement age for most people. So again, 62 is the earliest, 70 is the latest. You can do it anytime. Just make sure you're informed. All right, so 70% correct. Great job. Yeah, so Eric, thanks Eric. He said, what's the benefit of waiting until age 70? With Social Security, if you wait until age 70, your payment just will grow until then. So at 66 or 67, they might say, hey, Eric, if you take it now, we'll give you $2,500 a month. Or if you wait until 70, we'll give you $3,400 per month. So then you have to decide, would I rather have $2,500 now per month or $3,400 per month starting in 3 more years? When it comes to me in particular, I love eating tacos. That would be like saying, hey, Terry, it's noon. You can either have 2 tacos now, or if you wait until 2 p.m., you can have 3. Depending on how I'm feeling, I would probably wait until 2 p.m. and have 3. So great question. Delaying Social Security gets you a higher benefit. So here's our next question, which I think I may have gone a little too far. I think we actually put them in a slightly different order. So sorry about that. So yeah, let me find the next one. According to the rule of 72, how many years will it take a lump sum invested at 9% to double? So again, you have a lump sum, let's say 50,000 bucks. It's growing at 9%. How many years will it take to double? Is it 5 years, 8 years, 9 years, 10 years, 63 years? How many years do we think it'll take to double? Okay, so it looks like we have a few more answers to go. Seeing some spread answers across the board. So far, nobody's saying 5 years. Man, no love for the 5 years. Okay, just one or two more people, and then we will go ahead and review. All right, so let's go ahead and lock the poll. So here we go. The rule of 72 states, if you take 72 as the numerator, divide it by your interest rate, which is 9, it tells you how many years it takes your money to double. So doing 72 divided by 9 tells us your money doubles in 8 years. So people tell me all the time, Terry, it took me a long time to build up my first $100,000. Well, you know how long it takes to build up your second $100,000? Maybe 8 years, maybe less. And then your next couple 100,000, 8 years. So I was talking to someone who was young and just starting their career about this. It's like building a snowball. You work hard, you do a lot of pressure to create it, and then you push it down a mountain. And that thing gets pretty darn big and it rolls faster and faster. Investments work the same way. So again, to use the rule of 72, you just take 72, divide it by your interest rate of 9, tells us 8 years to double. So 8 years would be our correct answer. All right, so let's go to our next question. And that question is, which of these three is not a credit bureau? So we have Experian, we have Reliant, we have Equifax, TransUnion. Which of these is not one of the three credit bureaus? This should be a really hard question. I don't expect anyone to get this one correct. So far, I think you're all doing pretty well, but it's a tough question. So just one or two more answers to come in. Man, so far everybody's in agreement. Okay, everybody is in. So what's the answer? The answer is Reliant or Alliant is not correct. Now, if you were looking at the poll and then the slide, Terry made a goof. One says Alliant and one says Reliant. Duh. So Experian, Equifax, TransUnion, those are the real ones. Reliant or Alliant, not such, not quite. All right. So we'll move on to the next one, which is how many free full credit reports can you get each year? So again, if you pull your complete credit report, how many free ones can you get each year? Is it 1, 3, 4, or an unlimited amount? So is it 1, 3, 4, or like Little Caesars where there's no rules? Right? Okay, so we have one more answer to get in. All right, so let's go ahead and review this one. So the answer's 3. You can get one free credit report from each of the bureaus. So if you want January, you take one from Experian, you wait a few months, get one from Equifax, you wait a few months, get one from TransUnion. Now you can get 3 credit reports a year, all 100% free. Now, is this necessary? Maybe, maybe not. It doesn't hurt to take a look at your credit report and to just make sure that everything's accurate. I use a program that shows me new developments and adjustments on my credit score. It's not a full report, but it at least does show you a summary that you can refer to. And it's pretty accurate. When you move or when your life changes, you'll see things pop up with your new address, new accounts that have been opened, closed, etc. So again, 3, that is the magic number. You can get 3 full free credit reports each year. If you don't know how to find it, I use annualcreditreport.com. They used to have those commercials. I haven't seen one in a decade. Um, if you never look at it, it will probably be okay. However, you might find yourself getting a surprise someday. My wife and I, we were at Macy's, and she went to get a Macy's card, and they didn't want to give her a really good offer for her credit card. And what we found was there was some weird, like $50 charge that she never knew about, and it was hurting her credit score. So we went and got that cleaned up, and then everything was fine. So, not looking at your credit report, that's probably like if you're going in your car across country and you don't check the tire pressure, most of the time you'll probably be fine. But every now and then there maybe could be an issue or a better, more smooth ride if you would have double checked that before taking off. So only about 22% of us said 3 a year. But correct if you are only thinking one credit report per year per bureau. So here's the next question. This one should be fun. So Bill is 40 years old and he's contributed $16,500 to his 401k this year. How much is he allowed to put into his IRA, individual retirement account? Keep in mind, the 401k maximum is $19,500. The IRA maximum for someone under 50 is $6,000. So again, he's put $16,500 into his 401k. Assume he's put nothing into his IRA yet. How much money is he allowed to put into that IRA? All right. Some good answers so far. Okay, a couple more answers to come in. Okay, and maybe just one more. All right, I see letter C. I see some answers for 3,000, 6,000. Okay, I see 9,000. We'll go ahead and lock the results. So here's the thing. Your 401k contributions have nothing to do with your IRA contributions. They're completely separate. So it's like if you put 5 apples into your right pocket, it doesn't really have an impact on your left pocket. You can still fit a few things in there. So the correct answer here is they can still put $6,000 into their IRA because, again, what they put into their 401k has no bearing on the IRA whatsoever. So it looks like most of us got that answer correct. So very, very well done. Okay. Greg says he's going with letter C for everything. All right, Greg, go for letter C on this one. Greg and Debbie. So what does APY stand for? Annual percentage yield, all point yield, or annual point yield, or all puppies Yelp? I think letter C is probably a good choice. So what does APY stand for? I've never actually had a puppy, so maybe I'm not the authority on this question. Um, but then again, maybe that's what APY stands for. You never know. So 90% of us were correct. It is the annual percentage yield. That tells us what interest rate we are getting on savings. Could even be for something like a debt, a mortgage. APY is a standardized interest rate that helps us compare various products to see which one might be the best for us. So it's a great job there. No one went with all puppies Yelp, although my research has suggested that that's probably accurate. But again, great job. Annual percentage yield. That's our answer. Okay, so when held to the term, so basically, if you keep a life insurance policy from day one to the end of whatever date you were supposed to, which type of life insurance is least likely to pay out a death benefit? Is it whole life, universal life, term life insurance, or permanent insurance? Again, which one has the lowest probability of paying out a death benefit? If you buy the insurance and then you keep it to term. right, so we see some A, we see some C. Almost everybody is in. We'll wait just another 5 seconds or so. Okay, perfect. So we said 30% said whole life. No one said universal. 70% said term insurance. The answer is term insurance. With whole life, if you buy it and you just keep making your premium payments, you're going to get something out of it. If you live to age 100, the insurance company gives you the money. If you die at any point, the insurance company gives you the money. But with term insurance, it's usually a 10-year policy or a 30-year policy. At some point, you get to that 10 or 20 or 30 years, the price skyrockets. Most people cancel their policy and they never get anything out of it, nor do their family members. If you Google it, you'll see somewhere from 1 to 5% of term policies pays a death benefit. So you might be thinking, well, why should I pay for something with a 2% chance of working? It's like paying for homeowners insurance or auto insurance. I would suggest it's a good idea. Personally, I have over $2 million of life insurance. The reason is I have a spouse that I care about. We have a son, Everett, who's 1.5. We have a house. We have other responsibilities. If I wasn't here, my income's gone. And now that's many, many years of money that's not here to take care of my family. So I think about it this way. If I make my monthly payments towards this term insurance and it never works, then that means I lived a good life or at least a long life. I'm willing to pay a few shekels a day if my wife either becomes a multimillionaire or I live a very long time. Both of those things, if I had to choose, I can live with or be okay with either of those outcomes. So again, term insurance has a low probability of paying out because the price might go from $5 a month to $20 a month to $2,000. And when it gets to $2,000, people say no bueno, cut sling load, and they just let their policies go. All right, we're getting to the final, I believe this is the final half of our questions. Here's another life insurance one. John has $500,000 of permanent insurance, and then Susan has $500,000 of term insurance. They both go skydiving. Unfortunately, they both pass away. So the question is, whose family receives the most death benefit? Is it John's family because he has permanent insurance? Is it Susan's because she has term insurance? Do neither of their families get anything because hashtag shouldn't have gone skydiving? Or is it answer D, both families receive the $500,000 death benefit? For the record, I have never gone skydiving. My spouse is much more adventurous than I am, and she has gone. I joked about wanting to go with her last time we were in Hawaii, and I think she almost signed us up for it. So I learned to not joke about that anymore because I think I'm too much of a chicken butt to actually do it. All right, so most of our answers are in. So let's talk about it. The correct answer is D. Both of their families receive the same amount, and 40% of us chose that answer. So here's the bottom line. Term insurance and permanent insurance. If something happens to you, if you get hit by the fruit truck, doesn't matter. Both pay out a death benefit. It's like having pizza for a starving person. If it's from Little Caesars or Domino's, doesn't matter. I think they'll eat either one. So that's how the term insurance or permanent insurance pays. Now, if you skydive, that is okay. You're allowed to skydive and still get life insurance. Here's the caveat. If you lie about it and then you skydive and die, the life insurance company may not pay the money to your family. Here's the rule. There's a 2-year incontestability period. In other words, if you lie and they find out or something happens within 2 years, you're in trouble. Your family may not get anything. If more than 2 years goes by and they find out later, doesn't matter. You're good to go. So I'm not saying to lie to insurance companies because that's probably not a good thing, but I am just giving you the knowledge that if someone does make that decision, they got to know if the insurance company finds out that they were not truthful, then that could end up not allowing them to protect their family. So, so good answers there. Sorry, Mom, that Dad convinced you to change your answer. You got to go with your gut next time. So let's move on to the next one. All right, so the Gates family, they make $1 million a year. So the question is, are they currently allowed to conduct a Roth conversion? Can they take pre-tax traditional IRA money, convert it to a Roth? Or are they subject to income phase outs that don't allow them to do a Roth conversion? So again, if you're making $1 million a year, can you convert to Roth? Or is the answer no or heck no? Right? We have a couple different answers. Okay, just a couple more answers to go. All right. So, what did we say? About 70% of us said A, yes, they can make a conversion. That is 100% correct. No matter what your income is, presently, you can convert to Roth. Now, there is currently legislation that could change that, but as of right now, Bill Gates and or Melinda Gates or any other Gates family making $1 million would be able to do a conversion. Now, in the future, that may not be the case. However, presently, they are allowed to make Roth conversions. They can even do a backdoor Roth, which is where you put money into a traditional IRA, non-Roth, and then you just convert it without paying the taxes, or you pay a prorated amount of taxes depending on your situation. So it's a great job there. Let's move on to the next one. Like I said, we're in the final stretch. I think we have 7 questions to go. So John is 45 years old, retired military. His pension is his only income source. How much can he contribute to a Roth IRA? Is it $3,000, $6,000, $0, or it depends? It depends is synonymous with possibly 6,000 if married. So how much are you able to put to your Roth IRA? Remember, the max is 6,000 a year. Again, pension from the military is the only source that John has, and he's 45. So is it 0, 3,000, 6,000, or it depends? Okay, a lot of us are going with letter C. I don't know if that means I'm really predictable or if that just looks like a good answer. We see a couple A's. All right, so again, he has a pension. He has money to contribute. What is the answer? The answer is it depends. Now, here's the thing. Having a pension does not allow you to contribute to a retirement account. That does not count as earned income. Now, you earned it during your life, but that's considered unearned income. So you can only contribute to a retirement account if you have earned income. That's current W-2 1099 income from a profession, from a job. Now, if you're married and your spouse earns income, then yes, you can contribute. That's called a spousal contribution. You can still do the full 6,000. But if your only source of income is your pension and you're not married, the answer is 0. You can't actually put anything in. So here we went with it depends. Again, if they were single, the answer is 0. If they're married, then it's perhaps 6,000. Here we'll go with it depends. If you're keeping score at home, I'll give you some leverage to be able to gauge if your answer was correct or not. But unlike a lot of things, it depends. So that's why we're going to give you a little flexibility. All right, so this one will be fun. And I just hope that my answers are the same on here. They're close because I wrote these at 2 different times, so my memory is bad. Which of these investments is the most volatile? Is it stock A that has a standard deviation of 10? Is it a mutual fund with a standard deviation of 15? Or is it a balanced portfolio with a standard deviation of 7? On our slides, it has the same concept: stock, mutual fund, balanced portfolio. And the numbers are different, but it's still the same 15, 20, 10. It's still the same style of which one has the highest, medium, lowest. So again, if we're comparing standard deviations and we're looking at the type of investment, stock, mutual fund, balanced portfolio, which one is the most volatile. So we have just over half of our answers in. This is probably a question you don't see every day. So a couple more people, just waiting on a couple more answers. All right, wait another 5 seconds and then we'll go ahead and reveal. Okay. All right, so what is standard deviation? Standard deviation is like taking a measuring tape and using it to analyze things. Using a measuring tape is fair. It's like if you're measuring someone who's 5 years old, 12 years old, or 90 years old. The tape doesn't care how old you are. It doesn't care about your gender. It doesn't care about what type of food you like. The tape's going to be fair. In this situation, standard deviation is fair as well. Standard deviation is a mathematical, statistical concept that tells you how far to the left or to the right an investment moves from its average return. So, very easy. If we look at standard deviations, whichever one has the highest standard deviation is the most volatile. So here, a mutual fund with a standard deviation of 15 is much more volatile than a balanced portfolio or a stock. So to give you a real life example, a mutual fund with a standard deviation of 15, if it has an average return of 10%, that means 95% of the time, that mutual fund goes somewhere between negative 20 and positive 40%. So again, your range of returns is somewhere between negative 20 and positive 40. If we look at the stock or the balanced portfolio, the range of returns is smaller. So while you may not get as much upside, you're also not going to lose as much. So again, standard deviation, which you will see everywhere now that you've heard of this, is the risk statistic. It tells you how far a portfolio or an investment varies from its average return. Little math nerdism for you on a Wednesday night. All right, I think we're down to our last 5. So which of these is the top marginal tax rate in the United States? Is it 35%, about 37.5%, about 39.5%, or about 40%? Which of these is the top income bracket that we currently see in America? So all of our answers are on the high side. That's definitely a good thing. Just have maybe one more to go. Okay, perfect. So what did we say? We said somewhere between 37.5% and 40%. The answer, well, actually, I selected the wrong answer. Sorry about that. The correct answer that half of us got was 37.6%. Now, with all these tax changes that happened recently, the highest income earners got a 2% tax break. That's a big deal. If you make $2 million, you're saving $20,000 a year in taxes. So while all these other things were baked in to help the average Americans, some people that make a ton of money got to slide by and get some big savings of tens of thousands of dollars. So presently it's 37.6. It used to be 39.6. So it looks like, again, half of us got that answer correct. I clicked the wrong button because I needed a little more coffee today. Okay, this is an interesting question. Sarah's employer provides $100,000 of life insurance for free. But is it actually free? Is it a free lunch? Yes, absolutely. No, due to imputed income, or no, due to ERISA rules. Again, that free life insurance at work. Is it actually free? Is this a trick question? I don't know. So let's see what we all think. All right, just a couple more answers. All right, great. So what did we say here? 50% of us said no due to imputed income. Half of us are correct. Imputed income basically is when you receive a benefit from your job that the IRS says is too big of a benefit, you have to pay for that life insurance. So on your pay stub, you'll actually see a line item that says imputed income. It may only be $2, but you're paying for your life insurance. Employers are only able to give you $50,000 of coverage for free. Above that, you pay for it as imputed income. Now, there might be some other ways for companies to massage this and try to hide it, but look at your pay stubs. I've seen this many times. There's a line item that says imputed income. Again, it's when you receive a benefit above the IRS guidelines for what's allowed to be a tax-free benefit at work. So unfortunately, no, the free lunch wasn't 100% free. ERISA is the Employer Retirement Income Security Act. That's more about retirement accounts, 401ks, 403bs, the like. Okay, so which is the best education savings account? Here, the best means if you know you want to spend money for college, which is the best? Is it a Coverdell? Is it a 529? A UTMA UGMA, Uniform Transfer to Minor account or Uniform Gift to Minor account, or a taxable account? Taxable accounts are also known as glorified savings accounts. So the question is, what is the best college saving vehicle in the land? Again, Coverdell, also known as an ESA, a 529, also known as a 529, and then the other choices, UTMA, UGMA, or a taxable account. So we see some answers there. Looks like 529 is getting a lot of love, and that's for good reason. The answer is 529. The 529 gives you the ability to put in the most money, super flexible, grows tax-free, spend it tax-free on qualified expenses. 529 is your answer. The rest, they're okay, but I would not use almost any of them if I had the ability to do a 529. All right, this is our last question. What is the age limit for using a 529 plan? So you have this 529 money. What's the age limit that your child or the beneficiary has to spend the money? Is it age 21, 25, 30, or is it no limit? So again, you have that 529 money in your pocketbook. When do they have to spend it? 21, 25, 30, or no limit? All right, I see Greg and Debbie with a decisive answer over there. We have some other answers spread across the board with a few more people to chime in. I'm not sure if you all can see the results in real time. Can someone let me know? Can you all see the results in real time, or can you only see your selection? I'm guessing you can only see your selection. That would make sense. Okay, thank you, because that makes sense, or else people would change their answers. So here we go. What is the answer? The answer is there's no limit. That is a big misconception. Go ask 10 financial advisors what's the age limit for spending 529 money, and I guarantee you at least half will get it wrong. Because once upon a time, the age was 30 for Coverdell education savings accounts, not 529s. You can be 100 years old and use a 529. So, that's a good tool to have. We have a 529 for our son Everett, but if I wanted to go to Harvard, which I plan to do next year, for just a certificate course, not actually going to Harvard, I could theoretically use some of his 529 to pay for my expenses because I'm over 30. So, is there an age limit for starting a 529? Technically, yes. You need a social security number for the beneficiary. But if you want to be planful, start the 529 with yourself as the beneficiary, put money away, and then if you have a grandchild or someone born later, you can change the beneficiary once a year. So is there an age limit? No. You just start it for yourself and then change the beneficiary later. That's the workaround. If parents know they want multiple 529s, or if anybody wants an extra 529 for someone. So that is all of our questions. I think we're going to get some results. I think I'm going to get a leaderboard that will show me who the winner was. So, and again, this is the first time I've done this. Can anybody see my screen to see who came in first place? Oh, okay. Well, good to know. So we have a okay, yeah. So a few people can see what places they came in. Unfortunately, if you weren't able to click the buttons, you probably couldn't see it. So our winner today was Mr. Eric D. I believe I know who that is, but for privacy, since he just won the lottery, we're going to leave that last name out. But yeah, great job to some people. Mom, we need to do some practice. We'll just say Dad answered all those questions. It's fine. Don't worry about it. It's okay. That's why I'm here. So great job, everybody. Again, congratulations for doing a great job on those questions. And let's talk about this giveaway. So we're going to give away again a $100 gift card. We didn't say earlier we'd give it to first place, so unfortunately that's not what we're going to do. But I'm going to ask a really random question, and then I'm going to give the prize away to whoever answers this question first. We're at 3:59. We've got 20 seconds left. Let me quickly think of a question. Okay, I've got it. So I'm going to, and be ready to put your answer on your keyboard because whoever answers this first will win. So here's the question. What is my lucky number? It's somewhere between 1 and 10. So what is my lucky number? Okay, I saw the answer already. Wow, I must not be very complicated of a person. That's hilarious. So the answer was 7. So wow, Z Weaver, you are the winner. Great job. So here's what I would say, Z Weaver, and we had a couple other people that also said 7 really fast. Uh, please email me, tp@teamiwb.com. Please email me, and then I will make sure that you get your prize. So great job. That was so quick. And once again, I must be a very basic person because 7 may have been too easy. So great job there. Disclaimer, of course, the stuff we talk about is general in nature. We're just doing some financial education and having a good time. We're not giving any specific recommendations. We'd only do that if we got to know you and could really speak to the specifics of your situation. So I think there may have been a question. Let me just take a look. So there is a question, and it says, okay, so sorry that no vote buttons were showing, but I saw the answers in the Q&A and then also the chat box. So, and there was someone who was maybe a half of a microsecond from winning. So next time, but great job, everybody. That is our presentation for today. So again, we are Innovative Wealth Building. If you want to connect with us, there's our website. 800 followers on Facebook. We think that's pretty cool. I never thought Warren's face would even be on Facebook. So the fact that we've pulled together and made that happen has been pretty cool. So again, thank you for joining us. If you have any questions, feel free to type in the chat box. Otherwise, that's all we had for today. I hope you had some fun. I hope this was different and at least interesting a little bit. But again, we just appreciate your time. So I'll stand by for a moment. If there's any questions, let me know. You're welcome, you're welcome, you're welcome to everyone in the chat box. You all are far too kind. But as you get ready to head out, if we don't speak before then, I hope you enjoy your holidays, be that Christmas or anything that you're celebrating. Best wishes on a happy new year. And we'll look forward to doing this more in 2022. We're going to pick some different dates, maybe some different times to try to make this as available as possible to anyone that wants to join us. So again, I'll stand by for a moment to see if there's any questions. But otherwise, thank you for joining us. We'll look forward to seeing you next time. Take care.